What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Cthulhu the Dark One back with another toy review. This time we take a look at the Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Smokescreen, or just Smokescreen, considering this is the first legit figure of him we've gotten. And touch on that real quick. Now this isn't the Beast Hunters line, and that's why he's got all his doodads attached. But of course it's your standard weapon. Plug it somewhere on the car. You know, no big change about that. At least it's not a powerizer. Thank God for that. It's a little missile with a net. It shoots, I think. Oh, wait a minute. Ta-da! And if you really want, you can pull the netting off and just have a missile. And these things, I don't have any of the Dragon toys, but as you can see, it is actually kind of designed to go into each other. Like in there, you could wrap it around like an arm or maybe even a neck of some of the smaller figures and trap them. Second to that, accessory-wise, is his little beastie pokey bits. Now, most of the others in the Beast Hunter line, this sort of thing is molded on the figure. You know, like Bumblebee, Wheeljack, and all them. You know, they kind of had their characters redone a little bit. They added spikes, some new colors, and whatnot. Smokescreen, I'm kind of glad they did this. You know, since it's, you know, the only other figure of Smokescreen you can get before this one. It was an import version. It was just a repaint of Knockout. It was just a white version, slightly different head. But it was the same toy. I get why they did that, because it's the same same type of transformation. Like you end up with the headlights and stuff in the chest. But anyway, they sort of pulled it off a lot better with this one than they did with this one, in my opinion. And a review of this guy's coming soon, too. But anyway, like I said, with most of the other Beast Hunters, all the pokey bits are molded into the character. They're not bad. I just, you know, already own them, so I don't really see the point in buying them again, other than really like, oh my god, that's so cool. I want to own 2 of that because it has spikes on it. But with Smokescreen here, thankfully, it's just a little piece of plastic you can pull off. It does look kind of cool. Like, honestly, if I was going to display them in vehicle mode or something, I would just trim these off and just have that, because it doesn't look that bad. Another interesting thing I noticed, actually I'm going to try it right now, this little side bit right here that rests on his door, it looks like it's made to hold a missile, and well, it does, doesn't it? Ain't that nifty? But the thing is, he only comes with 1, and there's 2, and then the gun itself. So, there's that. I mean, I guess if you have some extra missiles laying around, you could just store it on them. But anyway, this is a separate piece, fairly flimsy plastic, blah. It definitely has a slightly better place in car mode than it does robot mode. It just, ugh. But anyway, nevertheless, you can take it off, and you just get basically a plain Smokescreen figure. Now, and of course I'll make note in this guy's, in Knockout's review. Hello! Like, I was really hesitant to buy him because of some design choices on it. I feel that they did the best they could, semi, to get the design of, like, the hood and stuff being his chest, while still, you know, getting the rest of the figure. But they did do it a little bit better. Wow, I just totally messed up his stance. Oh, I'm falling over. They did pull it off slightly better with Smokescreen here. There are a couple little gripes. Again, I'm not a toy designer. The main thing they did get right to simulate the hood being the chest instead of kind of like the fold-up gimmick. That'll be his chest. You kind of get a fake one. And normally I'm not all about fake parts in Transformers. You know, I think they should design them to fold correctly. But you do get a fairly accurate robot mode from Show and a fairly accurate car mode from Show. It's this little race car. Nothing too spectacular. The arms are the weirdest part of the transformation, and the thing I had the most problems with, but we'll get into that. So, for transformation, I've only done this once, so hopefully I can remember. Let's see, we'll go ahead and start, I guess, by popping the arms and legs loose. You just kind of pull the back half down a little bit. I guess you do kind of need to get the arms out of the way. The arms, the hood is attached to the front bumper, and then all this is his arm, basically. They are kind of wonky to get back into car mode because of how they particularly fit together. Because the doors are actually a separate piece altogether, too. So you just kind of wiggle. Wow, that just popped off. Okay, I'll snap that back on. Be careful wiggling that loose, apparently. Let's see, maybe I'm just that dumb. Because it comes in robot mode in the package, so... Okay, so let's pry the hood up. Ah, there we go. That helps a little bit. Pry the hood up, lift it up. In the instructions, this side goes in last. So what you want to do is you pop it loose and you swivel it around. You get the wheel in there. And that will free this jobber up. And basically when you lift it up, you can see that gray piece right there where my middle finger is. When you lift that up for transformation, it stretches out. It leaves you clearance to fit his tire up in here. Then there's a little peg, you just fit it in between a spoke. And then there basically is one of his arms. And then you can go ahead and do the other one. Let me go ahead and snap that booger back on there before I forget. There we go. Pull it out. I guess you really want, you can lift the hood up, swivel it out enough to get free, stretch the shoulder out. That will enable you to swivel it up in there and lock it into place. That may not have been on camera. If it wasn't, I apologize. Basically, swivel it around. There's the peg. You pick a spoke, and it just kind of helps it all hold together. Then what you can do is you can come around here. Did I mention I only done this once? Well, I actually go ahead and finish the arms. Basically, to do that, this will be his front, and you can go ahead and flip his head up if you want. There's nothing really blocking the way. Now his head, there's a little peg right there on the end of it that pegs into his chest piece. So you just bring that up, and I just missed it. Go, lock that into place. That's out of the way. The arms, pretty much the top, like, you can see the red and blue right there. There's his hand. That's how it's supposed to be. You just rotate it around so his hand's a little more dominant of what you see, basically. It just swivels around like on this joint right here. Whoop. Just fold it back out of the way. That's my one design gripe. Like, that is just a lot of kibble on his arm. When again, I'm not a toy designer, don't claim to be, but it just seems like they might have been able to figure out some way to put it in here, you know, to fold up. Then what you do, you fold this up, and it just kind of snaps into place. Oops, actually fold the doors in a little bit before you do that. What the hee-haw? Yes, I said what the hee-haw. Yeah, there we go. It just kind of snugs up around the tires there, I think. Yeah, that's right. And that's actually show accurate-ish. I mean, in the show you can see his tire like around here-ish, or actually part of the number. But, you know, pretty good. Then you just fold the windows down, and he has his little door wings a la Bumblebee. Then you come down to the bottom here, do the old-fashioned spin the waist around, separate the legs, start here, and just pull it down. That's pretty much his foot. I mean, you can fold the back out if you want, like there. That's where it would normally be for car mode. You can loosen it up, it'll pretty much come loose and go where it needs to go anyway. Or you can fold it down to kind of give it a more uniform look. And then to fill in the front of his legs, you just slide these around, peg them in, like so. And at first, and in some other pictures, his feet look huge, like his toes here, and they are kind of big, but honestly, now that I have it in hand, it doesn't seem that bad. And there you have Beast Hunters, or just general Smokescreen. And like I said, not bad at all. They accomplished how his chest looks in show. A lot better than they did with Knockout. So I do definitely like that. But the whole arm kibble thing, like, it's just to the point where it doesn't ruin it for me. You know, like, but that's just me. And like I said, I'm not a toy designer, so I'm not going to begin to say, like, well, if you had this fold here instead. But good posability. Ball joint hit, knee. Things might slide out of space there. Feet don't really have a pivot, but they do go back and forward. Ball jointed shoulder. Interesting enough, the actual shoulder joint is below the shoulder pad. So you don't have to worry about that getting out of position when you move his arm. For some reason, ratchet elbow, I just noticed that. And as you saw, waist rotation, super transformation. And there you go. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's a good representation. I'm glad we got an American figure of our own sort of thing. We still need an American version of Breakdown, but I don't think we're going to see that since we haven't yet. And then, in case you're curious, for his Beast Armor mode, I guess you could call it, this, yeah, there we go. These two little holes right here, right there above my thumb, they basically peg on these little jobbers that stick out of them. Let's see here if I can get this. And, well, I'll just kind of have to. Basically, long story short, in robot mode, it's just kind of hanging over them and like that. And, yeah. Again, glad it's not a power riser or something like that. But, yeah, it's there. Then you have his gun, which you can hold in either hand. We shall put it in his right one. Because why not? Well, maybe. Yeah. Straighten his legs up. Like, his joints are just tight enough to hold a pose, but they're loose enough to move around a lot. Like, bump around. Then you can give him his little missile, so he's ready and raring to go. And like I said, it is good we got an American release. Like I said, the door, the hood crap on the arms, you know, it knocks a couple points off for me, but it's still not bad by any means. This isn't in stores now in the Beast Hunters line. But yeah, overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10, and that's only taking points off for that stuff. Now, from the side profile, he is really thin. Like, but, you know, so, but that, I mean, like I said, it's good to have him as a toy, it's good to have him as something other than just a repaint of this guy, which I get why they went with a repaint of him, because like I said, the same kind of basic transformation of the hood becomes part of the chest. So, you know, this was a good first effort, I'll give him credit, but I'm glad we got a different one. If they could fix this arm door thing, you know, for like a redo for another knockout, I'm all for that. But just have to wait and see. And nice coloration. I believe, I could be wrong, I gotta double check show pictures, but I think he had some red on his head. I'm not sure if he does, I'll color that in. But yeah, pretty good paint. Beast Hunters Smokescreen.